sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this Saturday morning, ready to talk some NBA Finals action. I think a lot of people across the country might be a little bit surprised. We also want to talk Nick Saban versus NIL and some college football playoff talks. We know that college football has been on the rise in terms of being in the news media. I'm here this morning with my man T1 of City League TV, also somebody else, the man of many hats. How you feeling this morning, T1?
Feeling great, feeling great, feeling great. Ready to rock and roll. It's good to see y'all, my brothers. Another beautiful day.
Yes, sir, it sure is. And we also here this morning with the great Griffey Griff. How you feeling this morning, Griffey Griff?
I'm feeling great, man. You know, my Knicks up 2-0, looking like we about to get our first title in 53 years. I can't wait till Monday. But, you know, always happy to spend some time with my fellas, my WTP sports dudes. Let's get it.
All right. Well, all of these NBA questions we're going to be asking, we're going to let you go in the rear so that way you can give a little bit more time to your Knicks. T1, how do you feel about that game yesterday? And the Knicks are up 2-0 over the Spurs. What's your thoughts on the game and why the Spurs lost 2 straight at home?
Hey, I'm going to just keep it 100. The Knicks been kicking ass. If you've been following the Knicks in these playoffs, they've been flat out kicking ass, and they just haven't stopped. And whether it's a 1-point win, a 5-point win, a 10 or 20-point win, the Knicks just been kicking ass. And it looks like they're going to continue and go get this final.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, those Knicks, I knew that there were some things that the Knicks could do with their first 5 players, their starters. Even though Hart didn't score any points yesterday, the defense he plays, man, the heart that they're playing with, the aggressiveness, even though the Spurs are playing some real aggressive defense as well, the Knicks are not backing down. Karl-Anthony Towns is playing more physical than we've probably seen him play in all of the series and all of the years he's been playing in the NBA. He's going at it. Brunson is not backing down from the pressure that those guards are trying to pin on him. He's still getting to the cup. He's still making things happen. But I think the role players, Bridges and OG, those 2 guys have answered the bell. And we all talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that those 2 players was going to have to come up big in this series if the Knicks were going to do anything in this series. And they've done a lot because they're up 2-0. What's your thoughts on that question, my man, the great Griffey Griff?
Just to elaborate on what you said about Cat, you know, you said he's played his best basketball that you've seen him play his whole career, and it may be that's absolutely true. What Cat is doing right now, he's outplaying Wemby. That's the matchup that the Knicks absolutely had to. If Cat didn't win that matchup, he had to at least neutralize it, and Cat is winning that matchup right now. He has the nickname Cat because of his name, Karl-Anthony Towns, but if the Knicks win these finals and Cat continues to play the way he's playing, they're going to have to change that name to Big Cat because Cat is doing his thing. Like you said, the role players, OG. I can't say enough about OG. OG he's probably been the Knicks, the glue to this whole thing. His shot making, the defensive assignments he has to take on, guarding all 5 positions, along with Bridges also with his shot making ability this playoffs. He's shooting over 55, 60% after starting off slow. And they just look unstoppable right now. Like Twan said, like they've been kicking ass the whole playoffs, whether they win by 20, 15, 10, 5, leading by 14 in the fourth quarter last night. The Spurs tying the game up and then finding a way to pull it out by 1. They're just finding ways to win. and they're getting it done right now with one of the most impressive playoff runs in the history of the NBA.
You know, I know in sports we talk a lot about teams who win championships having a killer instinct when they sense blood in the water. Do y'all see this with this Knicks teams? Because they done swept some serious teams and on the verge right now, looking like they might sweep the Spurs. Is this team got a killer mentality?
I, I believe they do, and I think more than a killer mentality. They just keep fighting, and they believe that they're the best team in the NBA right now. I really believe I believe that New York has the confidence to where they feel like nobody can beat them, and that's what you're seeing. So like when San Antonio had those big leads on New York. I mean, they never wavered. They stayed true to their game. You don't see many forced shots. You don't see many bad shots. I mean, you see them sticking to the script. And guess what? I got to get that guy from Columbus, Coach Mike Brown, some big props for what he's about to do. We haven't talked about Mike Brown and what he's doing over there right now, and that's going to be a story within itself when he brings that first NBA championship back to New York in many, many years.
Let's welcome our man, Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10 to the show. Let's bring you up to speed, Mossberg. The Knicks are up 2-0. What's your thoughts on that game, and why are the Spurs down 2 games at home?
How's it going there, man? It's good to see everybody this morning to get into the afternoon, just moving around, get ready for work. It's crazy. Some would say diabolical. I think for the Knicks, man, I think we've seen over the years what they can actually do. And, I looked at a insert and a discussion they had about the trades. It's so many pieces surrounding where the Knicks are right now to get them to this point, having Brunson, having Karl Anthony Towns, who both are playing like MVPs in this series. But I think the Knicks, in the way they're playing physically, I think they're in a way of bullying the San Antonio Spurs. And like I said, when you have a city and a state on your back and they travel, you've seen Fat Joe with the set. I think after that yesterday, I was like, man, this might be a sweep. But these Knicks, they're out there playing with everything. It's like they're out there playing for everything they live for, everything, not just basketball. It's about family. It's about everything when they lace up from being at home until they get on that court and that clock hits 0.
Do you think that the Knicks are playing with a killer mentality?
I definitely think so. Watching Jalen Brunson, shout out to Parlay Poe. He came and swooped me. We was at the Massey's Pizza in Graceland. Shout out to Massey's as well, and the way their service was. Great time we had there. Watching that game, I said, the Brunson takeover is real. I think this Knicks team, like you said, they're playing with they foot on their neck like a chokehold. And this San Antonio Spurs team, I don't know what they're going to do right now to get out of it. They got to go to the Garden. And we know what it's like playoff time in the Garden. Wemby, we want to see a major performance, and we know what type of performance can happen in the Garden. Will we see another Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, a whole New York's team balling out like they did these last 2 games in San Antonio? I think we will. And I think we in store for something special out of Wemby as well. It's the Garden, the Mecca. All the stars are going to be out Sunday night at this game 3. And it's going to be very interesting, that first 6 minutes of the game. It could get out of hand early in the Garden. I'm going to just say that.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Griffey Griff? Do you see your Knicks having a killer mentality?
Yeah, yes, they definitely. And before I begin, I just want to say what's up to my boy Moss. How you doing, bro?
I'm feeling pretty good. Shout out to your Knicks Nation, man.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you, man. But to continue on the point that you made, Rob, with about Mike Brown. Also, always thought Mike Brown was a good coach. Like for him to get this championship with New York this year, he go put himself in an elite company because it's a championship that you got for New York. That's gonna be worth a little bit more than anything else. And he's getting the job done after countless coaches that came before him from many reasons, bad luck, injuries, whatever it may have been, wasn't able to get it done. Mike Brown is standing right in the face of getting the NBA championship for the New York Knicks. And like Moss said, it's not Sunday night, it'll be Monday night, Moss, game 3. They got 2 days off. Madison Square Garden is gonna be rocking Monday night. It's gonna be like you never seen it before. What you expecting from Madison Square Garden, what you done seen, I think it's gonna be something that we never seen before, especially if the Knicks jump out on this team early. Like you said, the first 6 minutes, first quarter, grab a big lead. It's gonna be hard for the Spurs to stay in that game. I expect big things. He's a star. He's gonna be ready for the big stage. I could see a 40-point performance from Wemby in the losing effort, but I think the Knicks are gonna finish this series, these next 2 games, and get this championship on their home floor with that killer instinct that you're talking about and finish these guys off. I don't think they want to play around with the Spurs and let them get a game and take this back to San Antonio and obviously send it to possibly 6 games and give the Spurs a chance to come back and win the series like they did against OKC. I see them taking the Spurs out these next 2 games and getting New York their first championship in 53 years.
We're gonna start with
Hey,
you,
just to go back up real quick, off the Mike Brown comment and how he will be, labeled as a king, if he is able to accomplish this goal and bring the finals championship back to New York. But y'all have to remember, he was once coaching the King and couldn't get over that hump. So that's going to be talked about as well once he gets this championship. And I can only imagine how great of a feeling that's going to feel for him, not only just to, be able to get that finals championship as a head coach. As we know, I believe he has 1 or 2 with Golden State, I do believe, but there's nothing like winning one as a head coach and getting that monkey off of your back because of the amount of finals that you went to when you did have LeBron, the best player in college basketball. So, man, I'm actually looking forward to him bringing a championship back to New York. I'm excited for Coach Brown, and like I said, y'all know where he's from. He's from Columbus, man.
Let's welcome our man, Mr. OTZ, One Take Zaya, into the building. We're talking to Knicks right now. One Take Zaya, give us your thoughts on the game last night. And what is it about the Knicks that have the Spurs down 2-0? And do you think the Knicks have a killer mentality?
Yeah, man. Hey, they match up real well with the Spurs. One thing I underestimated before the series is that core really played together in college. So I think they just locked in. I don't know. They just locked in all the way. And the matchups, it just fit real well for their squad. So man, the Knicks is balling, bro. They balling. I'm happy for my brother. My brother told me, he said, don't bet against my Knicks.
Still going 7, man. It's still going 7.
It's still going 7. Well, let's go to our next question.
Bro is a Knick and a Cowboy fan, man. He ain't won nothing in life, I'm like, it's a good day to be a Cowboy and a Knick fan for him because he ain't never seen nothing,
I bet you rub that in too, don't you?
Little bit.
Let's look at our next question. We're gonna start off with you, Mossberg, and we're gonna end with our man Griffey Griff. What percentage do you get of Spurs to come back and win the NBA championship? Put a percentage on.
Put a percentage on it. We appreciate you coming in as well, Andrew. We see you in here post. Appreciate you coming in with us this morning into the afternoon while you keeping it cheesy all the way in the bend and air state. For me, I'm gonna still give it 50-50. You have 7-4 Wemby. You have D Hart, and that's Dylan, who I'm talking about. One take. Appreciate you putting me on him. I just still think that this series is not over. I mean, respect to New York, but you know how this NBA is. Things can change within a game, and it only takes one game. Things can definitely change, and I don't know. I'm going to just say 50-50 for me. I know it looks 75% New York, maybe even 90% New York to some, but they play the game for a reason. I'm not counting San Antonio out. I had them in 7, and I'm going to stick to my word. These Knicks get the next one, it'll switch for sure to about 60-40, but I mean, it's just something to see. Definitely 50-50 still for me right now, man. Shout out to these Knicks and what they doing, man, for sure.
Mr. OTZ, put a percentage on it for us.
100%, man. It's over. It's over. You can't drop both of the first 2 games when you got home court advantage at the crib. You know what I mean? You can't do that. It's over. Hey, this probably be, if they came back and won this series, this would probably be the greatest comeback in finals history.
Our man post game said it's a wrap like a big ass sub sandwich. So he's saying 0% that the Spurs can come back and win the championship. T1, put a percentage on it. Mr. OTZ said there's no chance that the Spurs can win. He got it at 0. Post game got it at 0. What you got it at, T1?
I'm give them something, and I'm gonna give them like about 5%. I got 5 on it, man. I'm gonna give them at least something, but I don't think they're gonna be able to get up out of this. But I don't trust the NBA enough either. And like Moss said, I could see them letting San Antonio get these 2 in New York and bringing the entertainment part into these sport entertainment games, man. So. But I'm gonna give them 5%. Like they still got a chance. They still got air, and that 5% can increase after Monday. We don't know, but they only got 5 for me right now. I only got 5 on it.
Yeah,
You know what? I'll be listening to T1, man, because T1 be all the way up on it, man. I'm going with the same 5% T1 because T1 be on that type of stuff, bruh. I can't say 0%. You right, T1. I'm going with T1.
5%.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. I know that the NBA does not want to see a 4-0 sweep in their NBA finals with a Spurs team that to beat the defending champions. I'm giving them a 0 chance of winning the championship. 0. They ain't winning this championship at all. But they are going to win a game, maybe. Because maybe even 2. I can't see the NBA letting them go out with a goose egg, bro. But listen, they're going to Madison Square Garden to Mecca 2 straight games. You think the Knicks fans are going to give the Spurs an opportunity to even get in this thing? I know the NBA going to pull some.
Rob, you gotta look back to when LeBron made the finals for the first time. The team that Mike Brown was coaching. LeBron scored what? In that when he took down that mighty Detroit team that went to the Eastern Conference champions, what? Eastern Conference Finals appearance 6 times in a row, back-to-back Finals appearances, and LeBron went into Detroit and scored what? 24 out of 26 and took them down to face the Spurs in the finals.
Yeah.
And what happened? And what happened to LeBron in that finals? He got swept. So it don't matter. The NBA don't got nothing to do with nothing. If a sweep is coming, it's coming. But I'm not going to give the Spurs a 0% chance of not getting swept. I'm gonna be a little bit more generous and give them a 20% chance of not getting swept. But It don't matter who you are out there. If you're gonna get swept, you're gonna get swept. The King got swept his first finals appearance, so why can't Wemby?
Hey,
Ah,
yeah,
that's a good point.
that's
That's a
a
good
Let's
good
go.
point.
point.
Yeah. And you talk about the passing of the torch and everybody thinking the league is already Wimby. So I like that fact. And man, I'm a real quick say, man, shout out to the state, the city of New York, man, seeing all this footage of the whole city in the streets, watching the game on flat screens. Man, that's awesome. Keep doing what y'all doing. We got to find a way to get down there because that's got to see something like that. We need to do something like that here in the city, man. Buckeye Nation, man. Y'all need to see what Knicks Nation doing and do something like that, man. No disrespect, but it's something that's nice. And I like what I'm seeing. We could do something here and have it nice and respectful.
Hey,
Where did the
I just don't
Buckeyes come
see.
from? Well,
Because the Buckeyes is a big team that everybody will support and everybody watches. That's why I said the Buckeyes. Respectfully.
Hey, hey, y'all. Hey, I don't see the NBA leaving that much money on the table on with a sweep. You know, that's leaving a whole lot of money on the table. And you know, hey Griff, I know you would love to see a sweep, but and you might think that the NBA just don't have nothing to do with it, but I just can't see them being 4-0 and the basketball season being over with and all of that money and excitement just going away until next season. I can't see a sweep, but like in real life, I could see a sweep because New York, like I said, New York been kicking ass. You know, if they didn't try to determine the outcomes of these games, I could easily see a sweep. But you know, my eyes and my mind just won't let me think like that.
I get you. I get you. I'm not big on the conspiracy thing. So I'm leaving the NBA out of it. I'm going with my eye test and the Spurs. It ain't looking good for them right now. But I'm not giving them a 0% chance, like I said. And we gonna see what happens. But that's a
sometimes,
good point you made. That's a good point you made because it is a lot of money on that table to just shut this thing down at the 4. But the way the Knicks playing, the way they just did the Spurs on the Spurs home court, I just don't see the Spurs being able to control a game enough to where we can guarantee them a win in game 3 or 4. Especially if the Knicks get this third game, it's over with for real come game 4.
man, the Knicks is so explosive in the third quarter, bro. That's where they owning the series at right now.
I think where they own in the series at, I think a lot of people failing to realize Cat, man. Cat and OG are having we know what Brunson do, but I watched last night, man. The way Cat controls just when he get the ball, his hand, it's like he got a stiff arm. The way he passed the ball, I told Parlay Poe when he got when he got the one in the lane and he went up for a shot and he swung at the Bridges in the corner. I think that put Bridges at his third 3 for 3 at that point. That was something that I don't think nobody really looked at, man. The way he made that pass and in that moment, and then his clutch 3 before the end of the half, I said, this dude is on something different. And I don't know what kind of juice he drinking, what kind of endorsements he got, but he need more because he's playing. And I respect Cat so much more. And one of the players in that big trade, you talking Brunson, you talking Cat, you talking Luca. It's so many players that was involved in this trade to bring New York to what they have. OG Anunoby, so many different pieces they've been able to bring in. And you sit back and you look at some of these things like New York might have got the best out of all this to see the success that they've been gaining each year. And now people said nobody wanted to go play in New York. Man, I bet phones is buzzing. Everybody want to come to the big city and be a part of that New York City nation and New York's next team. That's just what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
The
man. Most
general manager in New York too, man, because what they have put together it's immaculate, man. They really have put together a great squad when you have players that, you know, they've been trying to get LeBron there. They tried to get KD there. And it seems like they got their pieces and Cat is playing his best ball. And Brunson is looking like a bigger, even more aggressive Isaiah Thomas, man. When I see Brunson and just the way that he moves out there on the court and gets his baskets, man. He reminds me of Isaiah Thomas, but just a little thicker, a little bigger.
I never thought about that comparison. Our
Yeah,
man
they
Mustang. Go ahead, one take.
they the same. They take 30 shots to get 30 points.
You know, a player I thought about, I know people would be like, Moss, what you talking about? Think of a player that got drafted to the Memphis Grizzlies, went over to Portland, short lefty, dangerous, took a lot of shots just the same way. Damon Stoudemire. That was a guy I thought about. And when you talk about how they had a team built around him, trying to get over that hump, this is something that's happening in the East with Brunson and what he's doing with this Knicks team. You got to think about how Stoudemire had that Portland team in the West. They couldn't get over the hump. Can this Brunson and this Knicks team get over the hump from the East in this West in this finals? I think it could happen, but, you know, I'm 50-50, but it's just good to see all these different things. And I like that Isaiah Thomas comparison as well. Short, tough, and just competitor. And his assists, they just count up. You don't even see it. And you look up and he got 9, 10 assists, which he's averaging, I think, about 7 to 8 this series, which is just crazy, along with the way he's performing when he scores the ball, field goal percentage and all. Brunson takeover is real.
You know,
Yeah,
the Nick takeover is real. You just pointed out Brunson 7, 8 assists a game. I think Cat's averaging about 5, Hart's averaging about 4. Like they're moving that ball, they're sharing it, and that's why they're in the position they're in right now. You know, it was a lot of times during the regular season, the Knicks were sporadic, up and down. Even though they were winning a lot of games, they were beating up on the teams that they should have beat. A lot of good teams that they were playing during the regular season, they weren't winning. They were going in the spurts where they'll lose 3 in a row, 2 out of 3 here and there. They all be against good teams. They got down 2-1 against the Hawks in the first round, and they had that team meeting. The ball been moving, and it's been, 13 straight wins since then.
hey, that's
Yeah,
a
man.
good point by post game saying that Cat is a major key.
Yeah.
But I believe that if you take out almost any one of those players, this New York team is not this New York team. I believe everybody is important, but Cat and Brunson, they are playing unbelievably. But you can't discount what Bridges and Anunoby is doing, and then those role players. I mean, everybody seems to be hitting big buckets at crucial times and keeping New York in position to win these games.
Yeah.
And like Post Game said, the way the Cat is playing, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be hard for them to lose. Like, I see a sweep, but I just don't trust the NBA enough to get it.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that's out there in the chat. Let's welcome our man SEC Sean and Jet Life to the show. SEC Sean said, "What's up, fellas? Sorry couldn't join. Had to get an oil change before heading to Michigan for the race. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Make sure that you have a really, really good time. Take a lot of pictures and make sure you share it with us so we know, what a great time you're having." And our man Jet Life is saying, "New York Knicks. New York Knicks, New York Knicks,
Hey,
New
Kev,
York
go on with that, bro. Go on with that, bro. You be happy,
All right, listen,
but go
they are
on, bro.
2-0 on the Spurs. He got the right to be super geek, bro. He
Nah,
got
Yeah, he been,
nah. He already know. He been hollering. He been hollering before hollering was even started before the first game. So I don't
yeah.
want to hear that, bro. It's still some more games, bro. Relax.
Shout out to bro, man. He been here since we've been talking this finals talk from last week up into this week. He been in the chat, man. We appreciate you, bro. And hey, listen, man. I know you on the high that's higher than the mountaintop right now, man. And y'all on the way back to the city that never sleep. Man, they watching game 1 and game 2 all night, man. Shout out to Knicks Nation, man. It's crazy. Griff, man, I know you feeling it, man. I just got to give y'all respect, man. It's just good seeing basketball where it's at. You know, I
Right.
haven't watched it this much in a long time, man. So I think I'm not happy as well because I've been actually watching it a lot more, man. And this Knicks team, I don't know. I don't know if I would have watched it if it was anybody else. But this Knicks team is giving us a reason, I think, really to fall back in love with watching a game of basketball again. For me, that's what
They,
it's doing. I love it.
they playing the right way because it's not just one person. You know, in today's NBA, it takes a team. You
Yeah,
gotta, you can't just you can't the days of the 7-8 man rotation winning NBA titles that's out the window. You gotta have a full 12-man team to win NBA titles now because you gotta the starters are not gonna always be able to do it. Like y'all said, the role players play key parts in these NBA finals now. Oklahoma City last year was a deep team. The team they defeated last year, Indiana, was a deep team. Like you need to be able to go 10, 12 deep in today's NBA to win nowadays. The days of the 7-8 man rotation, them days are gone. You got to have a
and
full roster of players that can play ball.
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. We spoke about that before the series started about game one talks about that the rotation, the bench. I think just looking at these first couple games, I think we've seen those adjustments by the Knicks playing more players throughout that bench, and we've been able to see through that physical nature it be more overwhelming for the Spurs, even through that length of their rotation. So that's just something to think about. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that's something I was looking at myself, the rotation, who's coming in, who's playing big minutes, what are those role players doing? Or, will it add up to, a whole bench or just a couple players? And it's consistent with the Knicks adding up to a whole bench, whereas San Antonio is just a few players. So
They only got 8.
somebody more has to step up, and we seeing it more on the Knicks side, which is bringing them to this 2-0 and possible sweep. Everybody talking about.
Spurs
Yeah,
got 8 players. The Knicks got about 11 they can go to. The Spurs only going with 8. The Knicks throwing about 11 players out there.
Yeah.
okay.
SEC Sean, if you still with us, make sure you wear a mask, some gloves, and keep that 6 feet when you up there. I'm just trying to protect my brother, man. That's it.
Hey, can I
Hey,
can I say
listen,
one
y'all.
can I say one thing, y'all, before we move on? Growing up, I've been a Knicks fan since I was 9 years old, man. When I was growing up, I caught on to football and baseball first. I didn't really start watching basketball till I was about 9. But the 3 teams that I root for, I've never been a front runner. I'm from New Orleans, so I'm a Saints fan. And in baseball, I watch a little bit of baseball. I'm a Cubs fan and I'm a Knicks fan. And all 3 of those franchises were dead when I was growing up. And my Saints got me a title in 2009. My Cubs won the World Series in 2016. And if my Knicks get me this title in 2026, my sports fandom come full circle, and I'm gonna be full. And
Yes,
it's gonna
sir.
be I'm gonna be full. So I'm real excited. I can't wait for Game 3 Monday night.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna start this next question off with our man T1. Who's your MVP in this final so far?
Man, I I might would have if they keep it up. I might have co-MVPs for the first time. I don't know if you can take it away from Brunson or Cat because both of them are just so important, and that's a hard one. And I know they're gonna have to give it to somebody, but that's a really really hard one because I mean, as well as Cat is playing, Brunson is the engine. Brunson is what makes this New York team New York. He has that grit. He's aggressive. He gonna put his foot on your neck. He ain't scared of nothing. And if I had to pick one, it'd be Brunson. But I probably would have co MVPs maybe for the first time. Both of those players are playing amazing.
Who you got, Mossberg?
I'm gonna just say he's been a killer after time. I'm going Cat. Reason I go Cat, man, he's been able to neutralize Wemby. We haven't seen Wemby this exposed all season, his whole NBA career. We haven't seen Wemby in these first two games. If you really think about it, where's Wemby? I'm gonna go ahead and say that, and I'm going for the Spurs. Where's Wemby? You know, Cat's been able to neutralize him. Cat's been hitting threes. Cat's been pick and rolling. And even with the adjustment San Antonio made last night, you see him get the ball, he hold the ball, he overlooks the defense and makes the moves. And he does work. When he got the crossover last night off the one step to the cup, I said, Cat is in a different bag. Killer after time, Carl Anthony Towns, you are my MVP right now.
Hey, real quick, off of what Moss B just said. And Griff, you ain't gonna like this, Griff. I'm just let you know right now. But as you said, like, where's Wimby? And any of y'all can chime in and let me know how y'all feel. I've seen several times in both of these game ones and these game twos, and I've said just that. I said, where's Wembley? And it appears as if he's just taking some time off and happy with being in these finals. And they telling him to just chill on out a little bit. His time is going to come. But I've seen way too many. I've been watching these games, and I've said the same thing that you just said, must be. And then y'all know the conclusion I come to. They tell him to go ahead and just chill on out because I don't see no dog.
Hey, the dog is out there. He's just been neutralized. Like Moss said, that man is playing his ass off. It's just another guy out there playing his ass off too. That's working with a better team. That's all it is. Wemby is doing his thing. He's averaging 27 and like 11. If Wemby's not to be found averaging 27 and 11, I don't know what else to say. He's out there. He's just playing against a better team that's more experienced, more hungry, that's just making the plays at the right time when they need to be made. Like Wemby made a costly mistake last night with that turnover when they had a chance to go up late in the game, and the Knicks end up getting the steal and going up. That was the turning point in the game for real. They came back from 14 down, sparked by Wemby. Wemby had what, 7 in the first half. He scored 22 in the second. He showed up.
Hey, you just hit it too, Chris.
He's just been neutralized with Cat. Cat had what? Cat, he outscored Cat last night, but Cat was 8 for 12 from the field. Cat been the efficient Cat is the Cat that's winning these games. Now, if Cat would have took 23 shots to get them 22 points, the Knicks don't win this game.
Hey,
You know what I mean? So he's been totally neutralized by Cat. He's there. But his team, he just doesn't have a better team around him than the Knicks than Cat has around him. That's what it comes down to.
And here's my point. There is no Cat when he's doing these just careless turnovers. There's no neutralization of him when you see him just basically throwing the ball over and just giving it back right back to New York. And those are the moments that I talk about when I say, okay, now something just ain't looking right. I mean, we all know don't throw the ball to a player who's not looking at you, then a ball hitting them in the back. So, you know, that's what I'm talking about. And I agree with you. They are New York kids playing some great defense on him. But as you said too, he's still getting his bucket. So I don't know how you're neutralizing anything. But I say we know that he's capable of a 35, 38, 40-point game. And that's what it's going to take for them to be able to get up over this hump. But when you talked about the turnovers, that just made me think about the 2 or 3 that I saw in the game last night. And those were very crucial and in very crucial moments and has nothing to do with, New York playing good defense on him. I just had some times where I had to scratch my head about quite a few of his decisions or lack thereof.
You know, that just probably comes from inexperience, trying to do too much. You know, he's 22. This is his first playoff appearance. What we expecting from this guy? We expecting him to dominate the Knicks, to come out here and put up 35 and 15 with 5 blocks a game and take over the league this year. He doesn't have a better team than the Knicks. That's why he's not doing that. When the team adds probably whatever they go do come next season or get better with a few more years of experience like the Knicks have, then Wemby's going to take over this league. But this year is just not the year for it. the Knicks have a better team. If the Knicks don't win this series, it's going to be a monumental collapse that comes behind it.
And
Well,
when I
that
say
ain't gonna happen, Griff. You ain't gotta worry about that, bro.
because I was about to say, when I say neutralize, what I mean by that, just think of the physical nature that cats bring. He's neutralizing any and everything that Wembanyama really wants to do. Wembanyama, he's getting his points. I know what he's going to do when it comes to that. Neutralize, he can't do what he's used to doing. He has to think. He's turning that ball over. Key moments of the game, you could put them together in the last 2 minutes. The last two games, he hasn't been able to do anything to go against what Cat's bringing towards him. So that's what I mean by neutralizing what he really wants to do, but he's doing other things to make it work. And just, we seeing how great of a player he is. No disrespect to him, but I just think that's how I see it when it comes to it. And like Andrew saying in the chat, man, Fox got to step up, man, big time, big time.
Definitely.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout out to Griffey Griff. Shout out to Jet Life, man. Y'all stayed down until y'all came up, man. That's really commendable. Um, Listen, I get what we saying about Wemby. Wemby is here. Wemby is showing up. He's not really even necessarily been neutralized. I think we need to highlight somebody like De'Aaron Fox. You a $200 million man, bro. You know what I mean? We need, if we see that some of these other guys, these younger players, and some of these other role players aren't really giving you what they gave you previously. We need to see a 25 piece out of you. We need to see 12 assists out of you. You a $200 million man, bro. You need to start acting like you're a supermax player, bro. That's the player we need to highlight. Not Wemby. Wemby is doing what he's supposed to be doing. Wemby is definitely doing what he's supposed to be doing. De'Aaron Fox, where you at, bro? I gotta put an APB out for you. And even though I felt like he played well, like when you looking at certain players, bro, you're getting paid as a top player in the league, bro. I need to see top player in the league performances. You know what I mean? Forget all that. That's why we was mad at Tobias Harris for all them years. You know, we need to see top level player of the NBA from you performances. Like this is the last series of the whole year. We need to see your all, and I don't think we seeing it.
Not
yeah. Who's your MVP?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cat. I like what Moss was saying about Cat. Cat is definitely neutralizing Wimby, and the NBA is not shy of giving a player an MVP based off of their defensive prowess. You know what I mean? We seen it with Andre Iguodala when he played next to Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? And what he did against LeBron. So I like Cat. I like Cat for now. Brunson still got a chance in the next two games to go off. You know what I mean? If he go off in the next two games, I will switch it over to Brunson. But right now, I'm gonna go Cat.
Who you got, Griffey Griff?
I'm going Cat also. Like, with the balance attack they're presenting right now and the way things are going, like like he just said, unless Brunson goes off these next two games for like 30 or something, if it stays a balanced attack to where the scoring is just about even, I see it going to Cat because of the matchup with Wemby and him winning it. I see it getting Cat getting the MVP definitely.
Yeah, Andrew said he's got Cat. He also said the Spurs got a young team, Knicks a solid team. He also said Fox needs to shoot more. He was hot. Yesterday he had a really good game, and I think he must have heard the people after game one saying that Harper need to get more time. And I think he played well yesterday. But I also agree with you, one take. When you get max money, bro, you got to come out there and give it to him. You should be 25 and close to 10 assists every game. I think he needs to pick it up. He said Harper's going to take his spot. Yeah, at some point, Harper's going to take his spot. A couple of things Harper did out there kind of threw the thing off a little bit too, but he's a young player. Eventually, he will be the man there. And then Castle definitely got to step up. Castle had a couple of hiccups as well in that game. And I think if he go ahead and play a little bit better, maybe in game three, these Spurs might be able to steal one in New York. I don't think so, but they might be able to steal one. Let's change gears real quick. Talk a little bit of college football. Is NIL ruining college football? We're going to start with you, the great Griffey Grit. Okay, you might be having some technical difficulties. Let's start with you, one take, Zaya. Is NIL ruining college football?
Nah, it ain't ruining football. It's actually good for football. They just don't have it. I don't think they got it correct yet. So originally, I think we all thought that NIL meant not that schools was going to pay players, but that they can go out and earn money off of their name, image, and likeness. That means endorsements. So that if the Senate really start putting laws in place, I think that's what they need to put in place. The schools are not obligated to pay you. You're getting a full scholarship. But if you venture out and you're able to make money off of your name, image, and likeness, then hey, make as much as you can. I think that's where we need to get to in the sport, where we don't have to have these $5,000 payments to get a kid on campus, or we don't have to pay a guy $250,000 to come to our school on top of giving them a full scholarship. I think that's the part we got to get to, because I originally I thought that's where name, image, and likeness was going.
What's your take, Mosberg?
It's. I think it's just like thinking about all the discussions that we've had. My top priority and opinion is getting a cap on it. They got to figure out some things to better for the athletes, students that they are overall. That's my first thing. I think it does ruin the college football world in some ways, but then again, I think it does help some kids that's going for their education, very good in the sport that they choosing to play. So that would mean it's 50-50, my opinion, but I would like to see them totally get a cap on it. And I think it's going to have yes, it's ruining college football. No, it's not ruining college football. I think it's going to go both ways until we really see with the cap on it and things handled the right way, the real outcome of possibilities more to come back and answer this question. I think we can come to this question at different points, even throughout the season, seeing some of the things that's happened in the portal, players that's whether left for coaches, and I've had a conversation with a guy, if you go back and check out Level Up Sports 10 page, of athlete that played football. Sometimes you don't leave, because of the money. You make the moves when it comes to the coaching, things like that, and that's out of your control. So some of those things are from the coaches being moved and the players. Like we say, it's now a business in college football, as we just was talking about the NBA being a business. Every sport is a business, so we have to understand that first and foremost, and then understand, okay, these are kids, understanding that they have a sport that they play they're very good at. So it's up and down for me. I just wish they get a cap on it so we could really look at this question and answer it fully with no, this is just an opinion. This is my full opinion, but this is my answer to the question, over all the opinions based on it that we've had so far. I think it's just a great topic to still talk about.
Yeah, I really feel like, oh, my bad, PT1. You go ahead and answer that question. My bad.
Okay. You could have went, but I don't think it's bad for college football. I think it's great, and they are the product, so they need to be getting the money. However it's coming, they need to be getting the money, and really they should be getting the majority of the money. Outside of the coaches, with all of these billions of dollars coming in. So I think it's a great thing for college football. They just need to, I think they need to get more control over the portal than they do the NIL thing. So, you know, players need to get paid. They just need not to be going to 2, 3, 4 different universities.
Yeah, I don't think that NIL is ruling college football, but like all of you have said, I think they got to get it under control. I feel like once you went to that collective bargaining agreement and everybody was getting a 20.8, I feel like, and I said this before, I feel like Power Four schools should be getting money based an amount of money based on their budget to where all the Power Four schools can compete on the same level. I don't feel like Group of Five schools should be getting as much as the Power Four schools because their budgets aren't the same as Power Four schools' budgets. And I think every Power Four school should have the same budget to where you can offer this amount yearly to the players that you got. But anything they get in terms of endorsements, which is real NIL, then that's what they can get. But your school can only pay players this amount of money from the collective bargaining agreement money that you've received. Now, of course, some teams are going to split it between basketball and other sports, but football is probably going to get the majority unless they're a heavy basketball school like what we see in Kentucky and what we see in Kansas. Um, but I feel like that kind of stuff got to get fixed. I think the NIL should have been taking place long ago, but it should have been taking place in a way in which everybody was on an even playing field and everybody can offer the same amount of money. But they do need to put a cap on some of this stuff because if you got a team going out there paying a guy, outbidding teams, I don't think that should be the case. You should only be allowed to give this guy so much money each. Like if he's got five schools that he likes, all five of those schools should be able to offer him the same amount of money, and he has to choose the school he likes best, not because somebody was able to give him $100,000 or $200,000 more. I think that needs to get taken care of, but I don't think it's ruling college sports. Let's check our chat, and we appreciate you, Andrew, for subscribing. Thank you so much. Continue to support us. Old Texas Tech man, let's see what he got to say. We're glad to see you in the chat. Saban is up NIL, is taking over for what he was doing underneath the table to really think Alabama was number one in recruiting all those years without getting something. Saban put his foot in his mouth. That is definitely true. We know that the Alabama team was giving up some bread in order to be getting those players that they were getting. Um, but now the NIL is there, you would think that they would have still been able to do the same thing and still been able to be relevant. He just didn't want to have to play up under the rules that were, I guess, in
We're
place
going
at
on.
the time. Or at this time.
Yeah.
Let's look at our next question. Has the way coaches have handled the way they have departed from teams helped players leverage more NIL through the portal? We see that coaches a lot of times, whenever they want to leave or whenever somebody throw them more bread, they bounce. And it looks like in the portal, we got teams out there, agents that are out there shopping their player to the highest bidder. Is there some similarity between what coaches do and what we see players doing now?
Definitely. A lot of it. I think it's to the highest bidder. That's almost what we're looking at and making sure that they go into the right school with the right fit. We seen that in a recruit in a player like Malachi Tony. Multiple offers to him as well as Jeremiah Smith. I'm sure something was talked about at USF. With his coach leaving, that taught him and recruited him. So I think it definitely goes on a lot. I think some players actually does leave for that bag, and it's good for some, not so good for others, as we've seen over the years.
What you think, T1?
Uh, I don't like the way the coaches just be banging out. I feel like the coaches should be held to a higher standard than the students. As they are the mentors, the father figures of these universities, and I don't like it. I don't like how the coaches are just bang out just to go get a better opportunity or more money when you have committed to this team. Stick to your commitment when your contract is over. Go wherever you want to go. But I don't like them leaving before those contracts are over.
Yeah, and I think athletes have seen it to be very hypocritical. That's why they like, man, listen, you ain't staying committed to where you are signed at. What makes you think I have to stay committed to? And, we get these students all this pushback on them making the decisions that they're making that's really life changing for their families. But when coaches do it, it's like, it's okay. But now that these athletes are using that same kind of strategy, in my opinion, you got a problem with it. And I don't think that that's cool. But I do believe that the athletes understand and their agents understand. Listen, coaches do it all the time. So you have every right to do it too. Until they change the rule, until they fix the rule, you continue to do what you see these coaches doing. They leaving for the highest bidder. You go leave for the highest bidder as well. Just make sure it's a good situation for you to still be able to play good football and make it to the NFL, which is their ultimate goal anyway. Let's see what we got in the chat real quick. Our man, Old Texas Tech Man 9144. Plus, guys, SEC Big Ten are jealous of Texas Tech because all of a sudden Tech has money. We Red Raiders are getting some of the top recruits, and SEC Big Ten don't like that. There is some truth to what you're saying about that. Me being a Texas fan, I know for a fact that we don't like the fact that Texas Tech can do what they can do with that Cody Campbell money. But we got to be real and say, listen, we got money. They had a right to have money too at Texas Tech. And I think that they're doing a phenomenal job of that. And I think as long as Texas Tech is doing what they're doing, they're going to always have an opportunity to make it to the college football playoffs and win the Big 12. And you're gonna get some hate because of it, because that's just the way things roll. But I agree with you on that, Old Texas Tech Man 9144. There are some SEC and Big Ten teams who feel like, hey man, they're using their bank in order to have some really, really competitive teams, which increases their chance because they're in a lesser conference than the SEC and Big Ten, in my opinion.
Spending that bread. Hopefully, they could get them one in the next couple of years. What you think? Do they get them a national championship?
Nah, they ain't getting them
This
one,
kind of
bro.
money.
They ain't getting them one. They ain't
Yeah,
getting them one.
Moss,
They're
you
gonna be
you
competitive, and
going too far.
they're gonna win the Big 12, but they ain't winning
They,
they winning the Natty.
yeah, I was like, because last year we seen the fluke at Texas Tech. They got there and got mauled on Texas Tech, man. But we could say that for another conversation. No disrespect. I'm a Nose fan, so I take all shots fun.
Yeah. Let's tackle this next question. Will we have new rules in place before the college football season starts this season? That has been discussed. Do we think that the 5-year rule is going to be in effect at the beginning of the season? Do we think they're going to fix something with NIL? Do we think they're going to have something in place for these coaches not to be tampered with before their season is over? Is there any rules out there that we think might be in place before this season starts?
I hope so. I definitely hope that 5-year rule, I hope that's taken care of. I just the transferring and all of that stuff. I hope that they change something. I hope that they change something. I like the NIL. I like for a player to be able to leave if their coach leaves. We just talked about how the coaches would just get up and go. But, I just don't like how they're able to continue to bounce around from school to school.
Yeah, what's your
I
thoughts,
agree.
Mark?
I totally agree with him. Same way. I don't like the fact that how they do bounce around from school to school. I've been looking at quite a few articles. It's like a normal thing for you to be at 4 or 5 schools, some 6 schools, coming back after going over to the NBA or your professionals, all this different stuff. I think they have to definitely get something in place. I hope it's the 5-year rule, and I hope it's everything surrounding this NIL. We talked about the tampering. I think that's something that'll continue to go on. That'll be one of the hardest things to kind of deal with so much technology going on nowadays. But I think we definitely got to get something going with this NIL and so much more.
Yeah, I really feel like the 5-year rule and the one portal transfer rule is two of them that they can get fixed. It can go into effect right now. Now, I don't. If they do the 5-year rule, are they going to affect? Are they going to make that affect Trinidad Chambliss? I really wouldn't want that to affect him because, well, maybe it should because he had a bogus judge really grant him his 6th year because the NCAA said no to him. So I think that should stand. But I want Trinidad Chambliss to be able to play another year because I think another year at Ole Miss will give him a better chance to make it to the NFL. And I want that young man to have that opportunity. But I do think that 5-year rule is one that they could easily put in effect before the season starts. And the one transfer rule. I think both of those are easy to get done right now, and hopefully they do. Bringing back pros back is wrong. Tell us a little bit more about what you're saying right there, old Texas Tech man 9144. Bringing back pros back is wrong. Oh, I think you might be talking about, especially in basketball, when guys who have went to the G League or whatever, but they didn't necessarily make their NBA team, then they get to come back and play in college. I definitely agree with you. That rule should definitely go in effect. Pros should not be able to play. And I think that if you got a player overseas who has played basketball at 18 and 19 overseas in the pros, I don't think they should be able to get to come and play college ball either. Now, if you played when you was 14, 15, 16, 17, I'm okay with you being able to come and play in college, but not if you done played at 18 and 19 years old. Even anything older than that, I don't think they should be able to get back in there.
Because they already playing with grown men at that point, and then to come back and play with younger men just starting to develop, growing into themselves. I totally get it.
Yeah, we totally agree with you on that one. Texas Tech man 9144. They should not be able to do that. Like what we seen happening with the guy from Alabama on that basketball team. That stuff should not be happening. For sure.
Hey, I forget what team it is, but it's a university where they done picked up a whole starting 5 of players that were professional. Do any of y'all remember what university that is?
I don't want to say the wrong team, but I know what you're talking about. I just don't want
Yeah,
to say
they
the
got
wrong
5 players that was out of college basketball and overseas or in the G League, wherever they was, but they done put together a little semi-pro team in college ball. So we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna find out next year, but it's gonna be interesting to see how that team does moving forward.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Nick Saban. Should he be on this committee of people who, and with these politicians making these laws or these changes or having these discussions about the issues in college athletics? If you had to assemble a group of people to figure out how to help college athletics, who are some people you would pick and or represent during these discussions? Is there any names out there? Are there any groups out there that you think should be involved? What's your thoughts on that question?
That's a great question. I would when you think of college football, you can't not think about Kirk Herbstreit. You can't not think about Nick Saban. You can't not think about Urban Meyer. You got to go now to some of the guys that coach, not just in some of these games, but spoke on some of these things even. Maybe it'll open a door of them, expressing their thoughts and okay, time has passed, and what happened then is we've seen so many stories come out about how players was getting money and coaches and things like that. Maybe they do hold something and know the mathematics of what could be better and bring the right people around them within that committee. I think something definitely has to change, but I would like to honestly see Kirk Herbstreit, Mac Brown, another name, and as well as Nick Saban on this board to see what they, those minds could bring together and making something better for these athletes overall. And a top advisor, someone that knows what they're doing when it comes to this, to actually have a hold of it too.
I don't like Nick Saban on that. I don't agree with you with the Nick Saban. I don't trust Nick Saban to make sound decisions for everybody. So that will be the first one that I would not have on my board, and that's a really hard decision to make. But I would actually want somebody and some people on the board. You don't have to necessarily be affiliated with sports. You just have to have a brain and want to come up with a right decision that fits everybody, the players, the coaches, as well as the universities, and not looking at it with your football eye or your basketball eye. Just more of a common sense. Like you almost could have some regular people like myself. I would choose myself to be the president, actually, if they was putting one of these boards together, because I know I'll make great decisions outside of picking my women.
Oh. You are silly, bro. Listen, man, listen. I really feel like, and I would be okay with Nick Saban being on there. I really would. I really feel like somebody like Rick Neuheisel, who's been a college football coach, who's been a college athletics coach, who's also a really, really smart guy. I think he's an attorney as well. I would like to see him. I like to have Mac Brown on there. I think that there should be a coach of each conference who the conference elects to be somebody to be on that board as well. I think that there should be a player or two from every conference that should be elected to go do that as well, to have an actual physical college athlete from whatever sport to be on there as well. Now, there's going to be a lot of people, but I think that you got to have somebody that's actually playing in college athletics in that space as well. You can't, like, these are the people who you making decisions about. They got to be in the room. So I think that you got to have them in there. There has to be some kind of Asian in there. So there's got to be a handful of people that I feel like should be there because they're involved in the transactions that take place within college athletics. So I would like to see that happen. I would even like somebody like Herbstreit or Urban Meyer to be on there because they represent the media side of it. So somebody from the media as well. But I think it can easily get done, but they got to be willing to allow even some of the tougher, like a lot of people don't feel like Nick Saban should be there. But I think Nick Saban will do right by college athletics because he ain't got no skin in the game now. He's not at Alabama coach, so I
Right.
think he'll be fair. I think he'll be fair. Let's look and see what we got in the chat before we go to this last question. All right, let's go on up.
Parlay Poe in the building.
Question. Parlay Poe
in the building, man. It was a good time last night, man. Just sitting at Massey,
What it do,
man.
Parlay?
Yeah, here's our last question that we got in the chat. Are there any teams in college football you think will make this year's college football playoffs for the first time? We got teams out there that have not made the college football playoffs. Do you think that there's a team out there that has a chance this year?
I'm gonna say USC.
USC.
Like USC. That's just a team that shot out to me. I just like that USC team. I don't know what it is. I just think what they have been doing, what they recruiting, I think this is a year they could actually get in that playoff, finding their comfort, not comfort, but finding their way in the Big Ten now. They know what it's like. They've recruited in a way to possibly compete for the next few years. So I'm gonna say possibly USC.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick a team, but I'm quite somebody if it's one of those whatever. Not
Yeah,
sure who though.
audio choppy. Say it again, T1.
No, I said I'm not picking an actual team, but I feel like somebody new will make it.
Yeah, I think somebody new might make it too. I like that pick of USC. I think USC has a chance to make it. They're a really tough conference though, but I think they're a team that can make it that has not made it if things fall the right way for them. Parlay Post said the normal suspects, the teams that we know have been good over the years. It might just be their time to get in there. I think with the situation with Texas Tech and they not know if Sorsby is going to be able to play quarterback this year, I think the Hammond kid is going to be nice for them. I just don't know experience-wise is he going to be ready to lead them, even though the rest of their team is going to be really, really talented. I'm going to pick BYU. I think BYU can be a team that if Texas Tech stumbles because they're trying to get their quarterback thing together, BYU might be a team from the Big 12 that can sneak in there and steal that spot. I still got Texas Tech as the favorite, but I think that BYU has an opportunity here to possibly creep in there and get in there. I think Parlay Post said LSU, but I think Joe Burrow and them made it back when he was playing there. I think it was a 4-team then, I think, but I could be wrong.
Might have been right up there.
Yeah, so I think that there's a chance of that. And old Texas Tech, man, you're exactly right. The Texas Tech Longhorns softball team, they did bring in a bunch of transfers. Now, they won the title last year. They back-to-back champs. They did bring in a lot of transfers. Texas understands that the game that is being played right now is you got to spend this money and get the best players so you can get some championships. And Texas is just playing the hand that's dealt to them. They do like what everybody else is doing. And it's across the board. Everybody wants to win championships. And we know right now, the way the landscape is played, you got to pay to win championships. And Texas ladies, congratulations to them. They beat a really good Texas Tech team 2 years in a row. That's the thing that's so fascinating about it. Both of these teams made the College World Series last year in softball on the ladies' side 2 years in a row, which means that Texas Tech is right there as well. And I like that.
They doing what they got to do for sure.
Oh, he said Kurt Francis might be y'all's quarterback. I thought his name was Hammond. Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else. Okay, Kurt Francis. Hopefully that'll happen. And I really hope that at some point, if we get to the point where Texas Tech and Texas can play again in football, I know right now they're going back and forth and they're kind of talking trash to each other. But I think just like when Texas and Texas A&M went away, I think that affected both of those universities in terms of having that rivalry. I think the same with Texas Tech and Texas will be the same way. I think they should play Texas A&M as well. That might be a little bit too much for Tech, though, to have to play both of those SEC juggernauts.
Yeah, but one season without Sword.
I think that's something that should happen at least every other year. Those schools should play each other because, Texas can't continue to play a 9-game SEC schedule and think they're going to play the likes of Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, teams of that caliber every freaking year. It just doesn't make any sense. Even though I know as college football fans, we want to see that. Anything else y'all want to discuss before we wrap up? That's all I had in the questions.
Not at all, man. Just great stream, man. Great show today, man. I'm getting ready to go cook it up, man. on this west side of 270 today, man. I got to go cook up till about 9. So that's what I'm preparing for myself.
All right, cool. Anything from UT1? All right,
He
cool.
must not be there.
Yeah, so he said Kurt Francis will probably start until Hammond is ready. That makes sense too. So hopefully they'll get that quarterback situation handled, man, and they'll be really competitive like they were last year. But y'all, since that's going to be it, I appreciate y'all joining today. Thanks everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Go check us out on Patreon and on Spotify at WTP Sports Dudes 2026. Also, go check out our website, WTPSportsDudes.com. We're out of here. Everybody enjoy the rest of their Saturday, and please be safe.
For sure.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all. In the building now. We up out of here. Love y'all, fellas.
Love you too,
Same
bro.
here. Love you too, bro.